Yeah, I like broth a lot too. I don't know why. I think I like hearty foods. I think that's just
Yeah.
what it has to do with.
I think I just like salt is what it is, probably.
For
I
you.
just want salt. Hello and welcome. My name's Jay and with me today is my good old friend, Alexander Gonzalez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And please remember that we are not game devs. How you doing today, Alex?
My stomach hurts. Did you
Oh,
know?
no.
So I don't know if you noticed. I got new glasses. These aren't chewed up.
They
For
were
all the
chewed up
audio
before?
listeners out there, new
Did your dog
glasses.
chew up your glasses?
Before, yeah, and it sucked too because those are Prada. These are not
that
Prada.
sucks. I also need new glasses. I don't know what I'm going to change to, but I need new glasses specifically just because these lenses are so fucked up at this point. You know,
Like
when your
scratched, right?
Yeah, they just get so fucked up and oil damage and stuff like that.
I hate it. It's always the one time you'll have brand new glasses, and then there'll be one time where your glasses are smudged to shit, or there's like some piece of like oily food on them, and you're like, well, I'll just use my t-shirt just real quick. And then you look at them and it's like scratch, scratch, scratch. And you're like, well, okay, I don't give a shit about these glasses anymore.
Yeah, that always happens. There's a turning point where I look at my glasses after I've been taking care of them super nice. Like I would take them off super gently and I would wrap them up in a microfiber cloth and shit. And one time I just look at them like, fuck, it happened. I don't know when it happened, but it happened and now they're fucked. And now this is just what I live with. I probably only get pristine glasses that like are super see-through and clear for like 2 months. And then that's it.
I've literally, because of dogs like booping their nose, I put them in their case whenever I'm not working or like strictly just playing video games. If I'm out and about, I take them off.
Well, lucky for me, I have to always wear glasses. Otherwise, I can't see shit.
That's
true.
That's
just how I live. Yeah.
My vision has gotten a lot worse, but with these glasses on, I see better than 2020.
But those are not the visions that we are talking about today. Today, we are creating something new. Every week, we are not game devs. We imagine a brand new video game idea from our minds. Join in on the fun, be creative, and if you have your own unique video game idea or want to patch into ours, write in to apphoundgames@gmail.com. Today is my turn to present We Are Not Game Devs 203rd IP. So, back a while ago, I forget how long ago it was, the pandemic changed everything in terms of how time works in my mind. I want to say about 4 to 5 years ago, I was in New Zealand and I hiked and hiked and hiked for days on end.
Oh, yeah.
It was just days
your
and days of hiking.
World vacation, right?
What was that?
Wasn't that your world vacation?
No, I did that years and years ago. That was like 6, 7, 8 years ago. This was my parents they were going to New Zealand for a hike, and I think they invited someone. That person couldn't go anymore. And so they asked if I wanted to go in their stead because they already made reservations for this thing called the Milford Trail, which is apparently one of the most it's one of the most, I don't know what the word is, but desirable walking trails in the world, apparently, is the Milford Trail. It's a 3-day hike. It's really hard, but pretty awesome, actually, once you're doing it. But it's a lot of bugs when I went. Anyway, they had an extra seat, so I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to go to Hobbiton. Let's go. That was my one thing. I was like, if we go one day, I wanted to split off to go to Hobbiton. And that was okay. So we went. And I did a lot of hiking, which I'm not a physically capable being that I don't do physical activity that often.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like multiple multi-day hikes of like wearing the whole backpack, going to a cabin in the middle of this hike, sleeping at that cabin. That's like a community ran cabin. There's like a ranger that kind of takes care of it, but it's like random people sleep there on a daily basis, right? But eating like dehydrated foods, that was the most worst part, is the food was terrible. It was a lot of instant food, a lot of dehydrated foods, pretty shit. Anyway, the game. Essentially, I want to make the hiker's dream of a game where it's an open world Metroidvania, essentially, where there's like a hub central area where you can buy hiking gear that will help you get to other areas of the map that you haven't gotten to yet. And the money can be generated by completing certain hikes, I guess, or like finding secret collectibles during the hikes. Like there'll be like noise cue or something, and so you know when you're near, so you don't have to like, it's not easy to, it'll be harder to miss them than to not miss them, is essentially how I want to make them, where the noise is going to be pretty obvious and you don't have to go too out of your way. But it's going to be an open world where like you'll see paths naturally, and then you could veer off the main path, but we'll make it a mechanic, like you walk super slow, so you don't want to go too far if you go off the path, like the hiking trails. But it's essentially just that. You just go, you just walk in any direction, and eventually like you'll hit like a cliff that you have to climb, or you have to go over some rocks. And the mechanics, I want to make them kind of like Death Stranding, where it's kind of like a balancing act by holding all 4 buttons, I guess. We'll just copy exactly what Death Stranding is. You hold R2, L2, R1, L2, and that's like how you balance your character over like rough terrain and stuff. And then we could do like Heavy Rain, Quantic Dream stuff for like the climbing sequences, where it's like controller twister, where you hold circle, but then you have to hold square, and then you got to hold R2 and L2, and then move your analog stick in a circle or something like that. What do you think?
Interesting. So this game's going to have to look really good, right? That's the whole point, is you're going to want to find cool stuff.
Beautiful. Every single hike trail is going to have like either a beautiful waterfall shot, or at the very end, you're at the top of a mountain. It's just a beautiful vista that is like amazing view of what you just climbed and the rest of the open
crazy
world.
Light and wind effects.
Ray tracing up the fucking
Wazoo.
Mountain. Yeah.
Really nice volumetric fog in the mornings. Really just authentic animals like coming in and out, and sounds. The crunch would have to be really authentic as you're walking. Make sure that's some good crunch.
I'm sure on the PS5 DualSense controller, you could feel the difference between when you're on dirt versus leaves versus grass.
They say that is, yeah, and snow.
Yeah.
And then we could definitely do the controllers like you said, except we can even do haptic feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can feel when you're stepping on top of a sharp rock, a larger rock versus a small rock.
And then maybe we'll have it so you could like, you have to press harder on the triggers to actually like get over certain things. And then maybe we could even add a mechanic where if you grab a rock, your trigger will jiggle, and that means that's loose, and you want to let go and then find a different rock to hold on to. And if you press it, you'll like grab it, and then you'll like kind of fall or something, or make like lose progress. No dying, of course. No combat. You'll pass out if there's a fail state, if anything.
It cuts to like a helicopter medevacing you out.
Yeah. And I like the idea of slight, not major, but slight survival mechanics. Maybe when you plan a hike. So here's the gameplay loop, I guess. You could explore the open world, and then you'll find hiking trails, like start locations, right? And when you find this hiking trail start location, it'll give you suggested stuff, like bring this much water, bring this much food, and make sure you're around this weight. And so you go back to the hub area. We could have a sponsor from REI. The hub area is just an REI store with like a little picnic park in the front. But anyway, you go to REI and you buy like enough food and water for your trip. And then you have to buy like your hiking equipment, and then like enough change of clothes. We'll make it so there's like a hygiene meter or something. You could re-wear the same clothes, but let's say if it's like a 4-day hike, you have to at least bring 2 changes of clothes. Also, you have to bring like waterproof stuff, if there's going to be
Cold
waterproof
weather
areas,
and hot
cold
weather
weather,
gear.
hot weather, yeah, all of that. Like a cold hot like thing will like determine your stamina if you're wearing the right clothing and stuff. The getting your feet wet could like also, if you don't wear waterproof things, maybe that will make your stamina go down faster at like a 1.5 time rate or something like that.
Yeah, you could make it an RPG like that too. Yeah, if it's like rainy and you have merino wool on, it'll keep you warm versus others.
Yeah, it's going to be
Like you can
super
buy
slight, and if you put it on easy mode, it's not even going to matter. But
Yeah.
like they'll be there for like the hard. If you could put it on the realistic mode, and then you have to like sim mode, and then you have to really like actually think about this stuff. But it's just going to be a chill game where you just walk and see really cool areas. And of course, it's not going to be like real life. It's going to be a made up park. And so you're going to see some dope things during these hikes. Like there's going to be things that don't exist in real life. Like you're going to see a waterfall that like falls into a lake that like, I don't know, it shoots up and like it's going to be like unrealistic. The
like a
views and
waterfall
vistas.
that falls through the earth, like falls through two holes in the earth to land into an underground lake that glows in the dark, along with a bunch of different glowworms and stalactites. And then there's a geyser that spits up that water into a rainbow.
All that shit, all of that happens, right? And then like the discoveries here, this will be interesting. The collectibles are finding cool landmarks. So like if you go off this path, yeah, you'll go into a little cave path, but yeah, it's full of glowworms, and then you just go walk through that path, and then it meets up eventually with the main path you're already on, type of thing.
And we could do a lot of cool stuff, like because like in Mexico, the monarch butterflies have a migration path, but we can mirror that, but put in a bunch of different colored butterflies, not just orange.
Yeah, we'll have animals and insects that probably don't exist in real life. You know what I mean? Just to make them look cool. We'll make it like Avatar, like plants and stuff in some areas and animals in some areas where it's like, yeah, this is a weird little like area, but like it all looks realistic, but it looks more colorful and vibrant and just crazy fauna and stuff like that, and flora. I think fauna means animals. I only know that because of No Man's Sky. But yeah, it'll be like just one of the most beautiful walking sim games that you've ever played, essentially. And all you do is literally walk.
And we just have to make it really, really nice. Where if you're walking and it's hot and you can see that it's hot, your character will start sweating. It'll affect the way the clothes stick to its skin. Same thing if it rains, if it snows, then your like clothes become frozen, so then it's like stiff.
Also, 0 inner monologue. Your character is completely silent, minus some.
And then if like the quest, if it's to find famous landmarks, there should be descriptions about the landmarks too. And then eventually I would like the game to be like where there's far off landmarks in the distance, and then you eventually get to those landmarks and start climbing them.
Yeah, definitely. And then like there's definitely going to be you have to find all these hiking paths naturally, but once you find them, you could fast travel to them whenever you want. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you have to get there again. Like you'll find a hiking path in the middle of other hiking paths too, but you could just fast travel there. You don't have to do that hiking path to get to that hiking path. You could just get there whenever you want. And it will be like on a map or on like a list of like hiking trails that you found is on a list that you could just pick out of. And it'll tell you if you've beat it, if you found all the hidden paths, and if you found everything, like everything will be listed out. It's not going to be like, you don't know if you found everything here or whatever. Like we'll have everything listed out type of thing and named and all of that. Another thing, let's just move on to the next subject because I think this will be an interesting concept, but music, 0 music. We just ask a bunch of podcasters to make a bunch of fake podcast episodes. and it's a radio station of podcasts. We have 4 different or 5 different podcasts.
Oh my gosh. You'd have to just, I think, integrate it with your favorite podcast station. You could do fake podcasts if you want, but we're not going to have the money to do, like you would want all of the biggest podcasts, which means as much as people love or hate him, Joe Rogan. And like, it would be great if it were Joe Rogan and Elon Musk do a fake podcast.
Yeah.
But we don't have that kind of money.
No, we don't. But I think it would be cool if we just have, like, we'll have all the major genres covered. We'll have a tech genre. We'll have
comedy,
a comedy. We'll have
true
science.
crime.
Yeah, true crime.
History.
Yeah, we'll have all this stuff, and they'll be there. And like, we'll have, like, let's say, and we need hours and hours of content, but like each podcast that has like 10 episodes each. And then after you will eventually listen to all of them if you play this game to completion and purposely listen to each new podcast. Then there's the option where it's like, yeah, just listen to your own thing. And it just connects to Spotify and you just play whatever you want.
Right.
And eventually if there's demand for more, we'll like invent new episodes for podcasts. We'll like make new episodes for existing podcasts, or just make new shows. You know what I mean? Like hire the same host back to make more episodes of the same podcast. Hire 2 new hosts to make 10 more episodes of another podcast.
If that's the case, there should also just be a series where it's a director's cut that plays over the level as you play it. So like the designers and the director talk about like what they did, where they modeled everything, where they took the inspiration. Because they did that for I don't know if it was for Firewatch or if it was for Steve Gaynor's thing, the one with the house, but it was really cool hearing the director's cut as you played it.
It was Gone Home for sure, where like in Gone Home there was like lighted blips everywhere and you could collect them and it'll be a little director's cut audio file. But yeah, we could have a whole station where it's like a director's cut audio tour where if you hit certain points, the director's cut automatically starts playing, type of thing. Pricing. I'm thinking, honestly, full pop. Like it's a game for specific people, very specific people.
The trailer would have to be just something really insane where it's where it just shows us like a person trekking and the game's just all about him moving through and then just a date.
It'll be like 17th. A time lapse thing where it's him in different environments, like
over time. Yeah. And you just see him moving, and you know how like when something's fast forward, they move kind of funny.
Right. And I think like the trailer's just going to be like really chill. And what I turn to is the very original Crew trailer from E3 one year, where it just had Oliver Tank, this like super chill vibe music playing. And it was just literally a car driving through the country. And that was just the trailer. It was just a car driving with music playing in the background. I was just showing him in like the car, not a person, a car in like desert, farm, forest, mountain. And it was just, that's the whole trailer. And it's going to be similar to that. It's just going to show all the beautiful vistas that you're going to see and walk through and like have some soothing music underneath, even if there's no music in the game.
Love it.
Love it. All right, Alex, time to start your timer because it's time to name this game.
All right. And go. Take a hike.
Sure.
Take a hike in 7 seconds. Even. Look.
Nice.
So, Take a Hike is a game where you play as a
hiker.
Is there another name for a walking simulator?
A hiking simulator.
You play through a what simulator?
A hiking simulator.
You play through a hiking simulator in the most gorgeous vistas you've ever seen, populated with local fauna and flora. As you see the world like never before in 120 frames per second, 8K resolution. Coming soon to VR. Take a hike.
All right, so I think we have a game here, Alex. What do you think? Would this be a game you'd want to play, and is it fun?
Yeah, I'd play it. If it was like almost like a tech demo, and they're like in the first game to be released in Unreal 5.
I definitely think that's going to be the main complaint. They're going to be like, this feels like the most prettiest tech demo I've ever paid for. It's going to be like once you switch.
They'll be like, yeah, they're really showing off the next gen hardware, but by the amount of butterflies on the screen.
Right. All this anti-aliasing on the clouds, you know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what I just said. Now that we have a complete game, what game studio would you be able to take a hike the best?
What if it was Crytek?
Sure.
They're used to showing off engines and games. The people behind Crysis.
Okay. Yeah.
Make a really pretty video game there.
I want to give it to Ubisoft, actually. Specifically the Ubisoft team that made Riders Republic, just because they made essentially a huge they made like 5 national parks if it were all connected together, essentially is what they did. But they made it fun to ride bikes in and jetpacks and snowboards and stuff like that. They didn't make it fun to hike, but if they focused ultra on just making the scenes really cool and the walking mechanics, I think Ubisoft could do something cool with it.
And then the only other one would be Epic, because like I said, Unreal. So if they can make this game half tech demo, half game.
Right.
Like just a debut of the technology.
Lastly, Campo Santo. They already have Firewatch. They just expanded on it like a shit ton and make it not a cartoon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Now, with that, our 203rd IP has gone gold. We hope you look forward to this experience that will probably never release. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to give us extra support, please head over to patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. For just $1, patrons receive episodes early and an extra podcast at the beginning, which you caught the tail end of our conversation at the beginning of this episode. That's patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And if they ask for a review instead of reviewing our show, become your inner game critic and review Take a Hike, the video game we just created today. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next Friday with another new IP. Again, my name is J.E.
And I'm AG.
Thank you. And please remember that we are not game devs.
I got assaulted by allergies like 3 minutes ago. I don't know where it came from, but my nose is running. It's itchy. I don't want to touch my eyes. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. That's been me these last like 2 days. I've just been sneezing and my eyes have just been on fire. I don't know what's wrong, but there's something in the air and it can't be the same thing because we live on opposite sides of this country.
No, it's just very much spring here, you know? Very spring.
Yeah.